Well, hello and thank you for joining me for another Alex on Tech and ITY TV video. Today I'm joined by Paul Riachi. He's Melbourne's only THX-trained sound engineer who received his training with George Lucas's production company in the US and who has created the ultimate destination for movie lovers. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for taking the time, Paul. It's so exciting to have you here. Now, on Monday, the 3rd of April, you're opening the second stage of RIO Sound Vision to the public, which is the world's largest dedicated AV entertainment centre. So please tell us about the venue and the amazing things that people will find there.
Well, look, I mean, we can obviously start from as you walk into the place, you'll see two vehicles that are from the movies. So one of them is Gone in 60 Seconds, the famous Eleanor GT 500 Mustang. And then we've also got Bumblebee. And on the side wall, as you actually walk into the venue, is a life-size Optimus Prime Transformer. And the reason why we've brought all of this together is because we're very passionate about movies and we want our clients to sort of feel involved with the experience and also, you know, to feel like they're actually at a Hollywood studio.
Yeah.
And then right dead center as you walk into the building is an homage of the old Munsters house, which is a very good one of my favorite TV shows when I was a little kid.
Now, tell us briefly also a little bit about yourself and what got you involved in sound production in the movies.
Well, look, it all started when I was probably 7 or 8 years old when I was tinkering with electronics and I guess I was sort of, you know, I don't like to say this, but maybe I was slightly gifted with electronics. I used to repair radios and TVs at a very, very early age. And then I sort of got, like many kids back in the 70s, had the privilege of experiencing Star Wars, which threw me off and basically just made me go crazy over sci-fi and special effects. And then obviously, like as you probably know with George Lucas, he's pedantic about sound and special effects and making sure that the films are recorded correctly. So I guess that my passion came from that, and then obviously come up. I'm fumbling a little bit here. But 1978 we had Superman with Christopher Reeve, and again that blew me away, and my passion just grew into movies and home theater and surround sound and obviously the electronics that go behind it, you know, the speakers, the amplifiers. And by the age of 18, I began my electronics certificate in technical servicing, and then since then I've been in electronics and fitting in car audio, and then we branched into home theater.
Yeah.
So RIO started originally with as a car audio installation place, and then we moved into home cinema.
Yeah. Well, it's a slightly bigger and better market with much bigger, more powerful results than just banging some track in your car as you're driving down the street.
Correct. And, I guess, when, back in 1983, when George Lucas began the THX program, we all were familiar with the deep note, which is that, that sound, that deep sound. That's the THX. The audience is listening trailer. And that really set the benchmark in surround sound. And, you got to hand it to the likes of George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, John Williams. And now we've got, obviously, Christopher Nolan and Hans Zimmer. These are the pioneers. And, we follow their footsteps in sound and digital processing, and it's there's a lot of people out there that claim that their format is better, or they're doing it different. We tend to follow George Lucas and the THX way in setup of speaker design and surround sound. And look, for us, it's the best format. And I guess when you got pretty much nearly every blockbuster movie using that format, well then you really can't go wrong.
That's right. Popularity tells its own story.
Correct.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. Now, ever since the pandemic, of course, watching movies at home was something that people necessarily had to do. And, even towards the end of the pandemic, movie makers were still launching some of their movies online at the same time as at the cinemas. So now that we're well into 2023, what is the situation from your point of view on cinemas versus home viewing and home cinemas?
Well, look, I think cinemas are still here to stay. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's nothing better than look. And again, I guess we could say this is the RIO ethos, of when we began constructing and building this 5-year project that we had. It's all about the experience, and I think people still will go to the cinema if it's a blockbuster movie. I mean, Top Gun Maverick is a classic example of that. And again, to get the full impact of that, you want to see that on the big screen, and it's the only way to see it. I guess with us and RIO is that's what we provide for people at home. We build big screen cinema systems, and we build them to the THX certification standard. And look, you can stream Disney. I mean, I'm a big Mandalorian fan, and anything to do with Star Wars. Yeah, and and watching that at home on a big screen, which we have, I mean, there's nothing better. I mean, you've got to see it on the big screen. I mean, look, you've got TVs. TVs are great. We sell a lot of TVs, but there's nothing better than 120 or a 150 inch screen, and with the big THX Miller and Kreisel sound.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy 98-inch TVs. You can buy even bigger ones, but they cost a bomb. I mean, even though the cinema quality projectors are also expensive, I mean, they're a lot more affordable. And I mean, I guess for the price of one of those giant TVs, you can build a really cool home cinema, which leads me to the question that, obviously every lounge room is a home cinema of sorts. But I mean, what are the sort of home cinemas that people are building in 2023? I mean, some of the really amazing ones that you must have been part of.
Yeah, look, we've been part of a lot of big cinema installations for people's homes and also for corporate use as well. We do have a commercial division at RIO, which we will officially launch in the next couple of months online. We've never had it online; it's always been in the background. Mm-hmm. But yeah, look, even with production companies, we've built some cinemas for production companies who actually use our cinemas as a screening room, so they can finalise their documentary or movie that's been filmed here in Melbourne or anywhere in Australia. So, yeah, look, I guess, the sky's the limit. I mean, and that's what we love about what we do. You can keep going on, and that's what RIO's all about. We've built a 50-seat auditorium, fully THX certified, and it's Dominus rated, which THX Dominus means it's designed for large theatrical rooms. And there's nothing like it, nothing like it at all in the world, as far for a retail store, that is. Yeah. Where you can sit 50 people in that room and be blown away by it. It's amazing how far the technology has gone and how better our componentry level is getting here.
Now, one of the other things that I'd love to know about is what are the sort of brands that you are selling which are delivering these cinema grade, super high quality experiences?
Well, look, I have to say, first of all, and you can probably see it on my top here, Miller and Kreisel, M&K. If anyone knows anything about cinema and George Lucas and is a fan of Star Wars, Indiana Jones, you'll know that Miller and Kreisel started back in 1973, which is the year that I was born, which is ironic. And these guys basically started the inception of home cinema, or basically cinema. In fact, George Lucas himself approached Miller and Kreisel and asked them to actually, develop a speaker system so that he could master his own movies and get the detail and clarity and make sure that there was consistency in the recording right throughout. So he employed Miller and Kreisel, and they co-developed with George Lucas THX as we know it today. On top of that, Miller and Kreisel have also had their hand in with Dolby surround sound and Dolby Atmos, as well as Dolby Digital. They've also had their hand in DTSX and DTS surround sound. So the speaker brand of choice that we use is the same speaker brand that all the professionals use, and 99% of the big blockbuster movies that we're all familiar with, including Top Gun Maverick, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Gladiator, all those big blockbuster movies is Miller and Kreisel. They're all being mastered and finished and finalized on a Miller and Kreisel sound system. So when you've got a system like that, and you've got a speaker brand like that are producing the same products that you can buy off the shelf, as well as what's sold and used in all the studios. So we're talking about the same model, same product. Because believe me, I've been into studios where I've seen speakers, but you can't buy them. They're actually designed for the studio. And whereas M&K don't do that. What M&K do is they sell the same product in the studio to the end user. So if you can imagine, if you've had the guys mastering, like Star Wars have mastered all their soundtrack using Miller and Kreisel speakers, then the sound engineers have perfected that sound. Then what better sound system to play it back on? It's a Miller and Kreisel system. So all our top theatre rooms in our setup here at RIO we're all using Miller and Kreisel speakers right throughout. It's the choice of professionals, and it's the choice of RIO. And I honestly, most of the proper home theatre systems that are set out there, a majority of the people who we know of, who are, and don't get me wrong, there are good brands out there, but we tend to find that people, when they listen to a Miller and Kreisel system, they can hear the difference immediately. It's not something that we've got to push to sell it. You listen to an M&K system, and we call it M&K, it's Miller and Kreisel, but you listen to an M&K system, you're convinced it is the system of choice. So, yeah.
And obviously people can come to the RIO Sound Vision store to see what other brands that you recommend for people to build home cinemas of varying sizes, right?
Correct. Yeah, look, I mean, we've got our home theatre packs come fully installed from $3,999. So we're not just pitching to the very high end of the market. We've got, the affordable, which is $3,999 installed, which is unheard of. It's great value. Right up to basically the sky's the limit. Our auditorium that seats 50 people, sells for about, this is a complete room. So it's a very, very large room. We're talking 6-meter high ceilings, cathedral ceilings. We've got, Art Deco design, and this includes construction and building, and that sits about $1 million. But the experience of that, and we've recently just finalised some of our calibration, and our guys are still testing and fine tuning the room. But one of our choice of playback is Top Gun, and you listen to the sound of those F-18s fly through. It's mind blowing, the sound. We're running 8 15-inch subs. All THX Dominus rated subwoofers, so they're designed for large rooms. And again, it's earth-shattering sound. Now, I've seen Top Gun at the cinema, and it was okay, it was great, but you listen to it in our theatre room, it's another level altogether. And that's purely due to the M&K speakers.
Yeah, you'll need the earmuffs those guys have on the top of the aircraft carrier because it's so loud. Right?
Correct. That's right. Yeah, I think we'll need to get some.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Paul, as we mentioned at the beginning, you're the only THX-trained sound engineer in Melbourne, and you received your training with George Lucas's production company in the US. So what was that like? I mean, in a bit more detail, did you meet George Lucas, and how have things evolved for the better since you first started?
Well, look, I did meet George Lucas back in the late 90s. I was very fortunate to go down to the Skywalker Ranch, where at that time it was a gentleman by the name of Anthony Gramani. He was doing all the teaching and training of Lucasfilm Academy, the THX Academy, I should say. And look, it was a pinch me moment all the way through. I mean, I didn't sleep. I mean, this is a childhood dream. When you get to meet some people who are who you've always looked up to, and there are some people that I've met that you look up to and you go, but they sort of disappoint you. You know what I mean? Whereas I have to say, when I had the, and he's obviously he definitely would forget because he's met a million people. But when I had the chance of meeting George Lucas, I have to say I was blown away. I mean, he was an absolute gentleman. He was very approachable, and he just loved. You could see the passion, I guess, I'm a firm believer that if you believe in what you sell and you believe in what, and you're passionate about what you do, then it's just going to rub off. And everybody in what I can remember, everyone that I had at the THX Academy, they were just passionate. Everyone was just, we were right into it. And I guess, it changed my life because not only did I get to meet and see the people that I've always admired, it was just being an electronics technician and also an engineer and understanding the theory behind THX and speaker placement and tuning and calibration and how important it is. It helped me sell the product because what we have done here is exactly what we've been trained to do, which is set up the theatre rooms correctly as they're intended to be set up. It's a shame that you go to a lot of stores and you get to visit some people who are selling home theatre, and unfortunately they read books or they're either a hobby for them or it's not a real passion, but they're selling that to the end user, and we're a firm believer that you've got to, if an end user's coming in, they should be buying from a professional and should get the right advice. It's important to get the right advice. And I guess that's where it's helped us a lot.
So how has the technology changed since that time, or are the fundamentals still pretty much exactly the same and the tech has just been good for all this time and it hasn't been bettered yet, or has there been some real advances you can point to?
Oh, look, the immediate advances anyone would see is obviously the performance in projection. Our choice, and believe it or not, a lot of the studios choices that I've been to, whether it's been in LA, Denmark, or Germany, I've seen that there, and it's our choice of projection is JVC projectors, and I guess the leaps and bounds we've seen in that technology and projection is that, obviously you've got 4K now, obviously, and now it's shifted to 8K, even though there's not much 8K technology. 8K software. Yeah, it's basically what JVC do is they take the 4K content and they emulate the 8K, so they just enhance the image. Upscale. So on a large format screen, they upscale it, exactly, yeah. And on a large format screen, you really need that because one of our theatre rooms, we're running a 180-inch screen, and we need to make sure that we're projecting, and that's a lot of light. We need to have one a very bright projector that can run that, and we've chosen the JVC for that. But more importantly, it can actually produce the picture quality without seeing any pixels or anything like that. So that's the biggest leap. That's probably visually wise the biggest leaps and bounds. Sound wise, there is undoubtedly. I mean, you got Dolby Atmos, you got THX Dominus, which is again, it's another level of THX. Then you've also got the processing and the spatial surround sound. Processors that we're using here is Krell. It's actually one of the newer processors that we're tinkering with. It's got what they call 3D Aura surround sound, Aura 3D, and also Dolby Atmos, which it's a new thing that they're working on at the moment, and we're almost the guinea pig of using that. But we've fine-tuned that amplifier and processor, and man, it sounds awesome. And Krell power amplifications is the best I've ever heard. High current power amplification, class A. And it's, again, you can have the best speakers, but if you don't have the right amplification to drive the speakers, it ain't going to sound good. So it's all about speaker matching and amplifier matching, and that's where we come into it. And our choice has been M&K and Krell.
Yeah, I'm a technology journalist and technology evangelist. So I mean, I know that technology has improved. I was sort of more thinking about the sound side of things, but of course, all that's improved as well. And would it be right to say that you actually undertook this training not to work on movies and those sort of productions, which you may have done, but you did it so that you could create these incredible home cinema experiences, or have you worked on movies as well?
We've worked and helped out with. We've got to be careful with what we say here because we are on strict NDAs with certain movie production companies, but we have worked and dabbled with a couple of film companies. With some of our theaterettes that we've had in the past were used for screening. So the final product was shown to some executives of some movie production houses, and our name has been on some of the credits of some of these TV shows and movies. But in saying that, as far as us working in the movie itself, no, we don't. But we have supplied a lot of the electronics for some of the movies, even some of the speakers, some of the M&K speakers that have been used on set for final production. Yes, we have supplied that.
Yeah. Now, VR and AR has been sort of the buzzword that hasn't quite really taken off yet. The rumors are very strong that Apple will launch their headset this year, and it will just be basically their version 1. And obviously, if you have a VR headset strapped to your head, it's really hard to have that group experience that we're used to, like, you know, watching Top Gun in the cinema with all these other people all sharing the same sort of electrifying experience. So just, I mean, you know, what are your thoughts on AR and VR, and how do you think movie making and movie watching will evolve over the next few years?
Look, I'm a little bit old-fashioned, so I mean, I'm a tangible type of person. I like to touch things and see things, and I think, look, if VR, you know, virtual reality, it has its place. However, there's nothing better than reality, and for me, reality is reality, and what we've created here is reality. You know, it's real. You come in and you experience it. I mean, we've got a movie set that we've built. We've also, our theaterettes are designed, and we've got the Bat Cave. So we've built a cave where you feel like you're in a cave and you're watching a movie on a large format screen, and you feel like you're actually in the movie. So, look, VR has, like I said, has its place, but you can't beat reality.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what else should we know about you and RIO Sound Vision that we haven't discussed that we should know?
Well, look, there's a lot of things about me then. I'm a very big car enthusiast. I've got a collection of cars, which I'm still collecting. But no, look, I guess I'm a kid at heart. I've got a collection of pinball machines, and we've got a couple of our pinball machines here. But yeah, look, for me, it's as far as, you know, what more you need to know about us, but it's really just, you know, we just like to see excitement, and you know, this is a very big project that we've built. We've earmarked another project that we're looking at building. So hopefully, if this is a success, we've already got another property that we've acquired on the other side of town that we're planning on building, maybe something that's a bit more galactic than what we have here. So let's just say there's more to come.
Sure. One of my questions was going to be, is there going to be a stage 3 in the future? And you've just answered that.
Well, look, I guess, you know, there's nothing more fun than having excitement. And I think there's a child in everyone.
Absolutely.
I think we've all got that little kid in us. And, you know, growing up, you know, there's nothing better than having excitement. And it's, look, what we've built here. Yeah, look, it's, you know, it's for the consumer. It's for the little kid that comes in and he sees Optimus Prime. And we've got a lot of movie memorabilia in that's located here on the premises. For example, you know, we've got, you know, the life-size real statue of Darth Vader and Darth Maul. We've even got Darth Malgus. I'm not sure if you've heard of Darth Malgus, but he's in one of the I think it was
Clone Wars or Rebels.
Yeah. He's Darth Malgus is actually in a one of the computer games of the Star Wars trilogy.
There have been many,
Yeah, there's been many, and apparently they're actually making him into a real character now. So we've got a life-size statue of Darth Malgus, thanks to Lucasfilm. But yeah, look, I guess, you know, for us, it's about, you know, we've done this now. We're pretty excited. We're pretty pumped. We want everyone to see it. We hope everyone loves it, and we're now looking forward to the next project. So yeah, we're excited.
So 3 questions to finish on, a couple of personal questions. One of which is, I always like to ask the people I'm speaking with if you could please share a memory of your first computer.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sure if you know the first computer, but I've had many first computers. But basically, my very first one was a Tandy color computer, and it was a Coco
TRS-8. Coco 1. I had a Coco.
TRS-80.
Yeah, I had the
TRS-80.
yeah.
Yeah.
They called it the Trash
So
80 at the time.
the Trash 80. Yeah. So it was mine was obviously the silver one. We all got
Yeah.
that from Radio Shack, and then I upgraded to the color computer too. I was adamant that I wasn't going to go down to Commodore 64 because if you had a Tandy, you couldn't be a Commodore guy. But I had a color computer 2. Then I bought a color computer 3, which had 128K, which was big time back then.
Huge, yeah.
Yeah. But then I succumbed. I kept I've still got them, to be honest. I've got all 3 computers.
You should have them on display.
And I've got my car. Oh, we will. We're actually building. Actually, if you want to know something that we haven't finalized yet because we're still working at the location. But I want to put all that. We've got an area where we've got some old technology areas that we want to put. In fact, we've got, thanks to the guys at Indie, where we've got Indie's an importing company that imports Lerva TVs. We've got one of the old original radios back in 1929 that was made in Germany, valve radio, gifted from Lerva. But we've got an area that we want to put all this old technology, just the history of technology. And funny enough, you say that because I've got my Commodore 64, I've got an Amiga. So yeah, look, love technology, always been in technology. And I mean, who doesn't? I mean, and I have to say, back in those days, it was different. You went and bought the magazine. You never knew what was coming out, but you had to buy the latest magazine. And whereas I guess today the kids today are a little bit spoiled. They get the information before it even comes out.
Yeah.
But I guess it was a good time. Good time. So Tandy is my first computer.
Yeah. I was born in 74, just a year after you, and my first computer was in 1979, which was the Exidy Sorcerer. At the time, there was the Commodore PET, which was the computer from Buck Rogers in the 25th century, and I think it was the Apple I that you could buy and build yourself. And my father bought the Exidy Sorcerer, and that company didn't stay in video games. They moved into pinball games. And actually, I met somebody in the US, in San Francisco, and I was talking to them about how, my first computer was an Exidy, and they looked at me, and that person worked with the founder and hadn't heard that name in 50 years basically. So it was incredible to actually meet someone who was part of that company, and that was my first computer. And then I also had Microbees and Amigas and all that sort of stuff. And now of course I just love technology. That's why I'm a technology journalist and evangelist. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And look, I guess back then too, I mean, we all had to sit and wait for the game to load or the program to boot up, or there was patience then. I mean, today it's, I don't know. And you know what? When you bought the game, I don't know how you felt, but I know when you bought the game, you felt like you owned the game. Yeah. I remember going in and buying my Commodore 64 games or my Tandy TRS-80. I think I remember buying Dallas Quest and Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, that was
I bought all those games. And great game, and you just feel, I can't wait till I get home and play this thing,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, you just can't beat that stuff. It's awesome, and it's amazing when you meet some of these people. These are the rock stars of our life, and in the tech world, and it's just awesome. And it's nothing better than when you meet these people, and they're actually the people that you wished or you hoped for them to be. You know what I mean? It's nothing worse when you meet some people and they're either arrogant or they just don't care. And we've been very fortunate that we've met some really beautiful people.
And just on the subject of young people being a bit spoiled, there's a famous saying that says, for some young people today, instant gratification isn't instant enough.
It's not instant enough. Not for them, no way.
So my second last question is to ask if you could please share some of the best advice you received in life to help you get where you are today.
All right. Well, I've had probably the best upbringing with my dad and my mum. But my dad used to always say, if more people knew about you, you'd be a lot more busier. And and believe me, I know that. It takes a long time to get your brand out there. And there's one thing that I've always stood by, and this is advice that I've given myself. But I've had some pretty good mentors along the way. But one thing I've always learned is, persistence leads to success. But you've got to persist. You constantly have to persist. And, you know, we've had a lot of doors closed on us. We've had a, you know, it's not an easy ride. It's hard work, but you know, you keep persisting, and hopefully things turn around. And thank God we've seen a lot of good things come our way.
I was waiting for that
So,
phone call to go again because I was going to say that guy's persistent too.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry.
So,
I've turned that down. Sorry about
no,
that.
that's all right. I normally ask or advise people to put their phone on silent or on do not disturb, but that's okay. This is all
Yeah.
part of the fun and games. So my final question
Well, it's
is,
real.
yeah, it's real. Well, this is real life. I mean,
This is not virtual. This is real.
absolutely. Even though we're talking over a Zoom chat, it's still real.
Yeah.
So my final question is, what is your final message to IT Wire viewers and readers and to your current and future customers and partners? I guess besides come down on the 3rd of April to check it all out.
Yeah. Look, you know, with all that's going on around the world, unfortunately, you know, it's you know, and I guess every day is a different day, but look, what we've created here is something that, you know, I've taken a leaf from, a very small leaf, believe me, from the brilliant man himself, Walt Disney. You know, we've built something here that we just want people to come in and just experience and fall in love with, you know, because, you know, we do live in one of the best countries in the world. We do live in a, you know, in a very trying time. You know, while there's a lot of, you know, negativity out there, you know, we're all about positive energy, and have fun and experience. You know, music and movies is a part of our life, and for us, it's all about the movies and it's all about the music, because you know, at the end of the day, they can uplift you and they can take you to another and transport you to a different realm. So for us, it's, you know, we just want the IT lovers out there, your market, your people out there, to come and enjoy what we've created. Everyone is welcome.
Wonderful. Well, Paul Riachi, the founder and owner and proprietor of RIO Sound Vision, the creator of that, and your beautiful Stage 2 and all the incredible movie memorabilia. It's been a real pleasure to speak with you. I do hope, you know, I wish you the best of success, and I do hope we can talk again and meet in the future.
Mate, you are welcome anytime, and I'm sure we're going to see each other very soon.
No worries. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much again for the opportunity, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Wonderful. We'll talk again. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.